In this book, through a series of dialogues between man and an imaginary enlightened being, Anup Rej have built a structure of thought, which has helped him to understand the connections between mind and matter, and the supernatural existence. While keeping in close touch with the scientific knowledge, the discourses include the questions of the universe, the evolution of life and mind, as well as the ways different realms of consciousness project the experience of reality in human life. In the dialogues about the cosmos, the enlightened being explains how everything in the universe are entangled together to form a knotted design, which reappears in smaller and smaller scales in cosmic structures. Everywhere, and in all scales, the process of birth, evolution and death occurs to generate chaos and order in turn. The dynamics of creation is governed by ejection from the center and accretion of matter towards the center. The forces in nature are fine-tuned to create the design of the fractal knot, which does not change with time. Next dialogue revolves around the questions of life, death and evolution. Life in the timeless universe appears as formless embodiment of the mind, in the physical world of form. Both the formless mind and the form-bound body are parts of the One, which never ceases to exist. The Great Mind exists as the power which moves through form-bound existences, in order to bring evolution of things towards fulfilling a destiny of life, which may harmonize with the destiny of all. With death, individual passes into the ever-existing flow of life force, from where new life will rise once again. In this new form, the will and mind manifest, following the characteristic of the body which appears in the world immersed in the will of all. The dialogues then include the questions of the will and the mind. Will and world are two parts of a duality, which form the basis of existence, where life exists. With evolution of the physical bodies, the capacity of the will to act on the physical world increases. Will is a navigator of freedom, and a door to find new grounds of reality. Higher the will, more it becomes free from the dictates of the material laws and conditions, and thus able to manipulate the situations of life, which define the reality. Lower will succumbs to the dictates of the physical nature, and fails to assert freedom of the mind over matter. Physical evolution of the animal species, from lower to higher form, follows the evolution of the mind. Life is an opportunity to evolve from a lower state of the mind to a higher one, and thus it brings progress to the evolution of freedom of life. This higher freedom gives opportunities of making journeys towards territories, which one may not be able to dream when one's mind is covered by ignorance. This journey is a process by which one learns how to overcome the drags of the darkened world, where one may remain captivated by the lower nature of will. With higher evolution of the mind, one learns to choose to move towards realms of freedom, which will bring experiences of the higher world. It is a journey to overcome delusion of darkness, and experience a reality illumined by light. The dialogues continue to discuss the nature of the mind, which is a source of illusion, delusion and reality. The way one orients oneself to the world, and makes use of one's will to maneuver through the reality, creates the delusion and the illusion of life. By attaching oneself emotionally to such an illusion, one may project one's vision of reality. However, there are innumerable realities, depending on how one deludes oneself, and what one chooses to live with. There exists always something unknown and unperceived, which move at every moment beside what we know and perceive. Life is an opportunity to encounter and explore that deep-lying reality. This brings the questions of the supernatural and the existence of God. God cannot be understood or known by applying any scientific method of measurements, which depend on the forces of nature that act on the material states of existence. God is not one with the world and the will where matter and mind exist, and therefore cannot be described by any language bound to the experiences tied to matter and life. Instead, the divine is the power from where all consciousness in the universe arise. God's mystery can only be known through the words appearing in the mind of the enlightened beings, who are able to connect with the cosmic mind. Then the dialogues go over to the questions of religion and culture, and the way to live an enlightened life. Life bound to the laws of nature and the needs of security and survival demands efforts, ingenuity and creative methods to overcome the challenges one may face. More the mind ascends towards the higher path, more one may be able to free oneself from the dictates of the law-bound world and the blind urges which appear as needs and necessities of survival. Creativity, based on the lower or higher nature of the will, creates cultural arenas of different characters which bring different meaning to different people. They act as compasses which lead life to its desired destinations. Enlightened path is the path which brings human beings to a higher realization of existence. It is a way to attune the mind to higher consciousness, which may bring higher evolution of life. Enlightened mind sees itself in the images and movements of the world and the will and experiences oneness with all. In order to pave such a path, one needs to kindle light of knowledge and gain information about the nature of the world and the will, and the higher realms of the mind. Finally, the dialogues touch upon the questions of modern civilization and the possibilities to build an enlightened social order. The development in the modern world, where science and technology has taken the lead, is making human beings to believe that they are more and more akin to mechanical robots without any spirit and soul of any kind. Science has thus created its own delusion, by reducing the reality as made of only natural forces. An enlightened social order will allow science and technology to open new paths where the higher mind may flourish and lead mankind to build an enlightened world.